Bon, juste je vais me remute, je pense après, je parlerai pas du tout pendant le gameplay. Voilà. On va faire ça. La petite quête de Kazuha là, parce que j'avais vu qu'il fallait la faire pour faire les prochaines quêtes de monde, prochaines quêtes d'Archon, pas de monde, qu'on va devoir faire la prochaine fois qu'on jouera à Genshin. Et je voulais m'avancer un peu et faire des trucs. Voilà, voilà. Si c'est bon, mon clavier remarche. Putain mais quel enfer. J'ai décidé de tester aussi de jouer à la manette depuis ce matin. Comme ça je peux jouer depuis mon lit, c'est vachement plus pratique. D'où le pas de caméra en fait. Je suis juste pas devant mon PC. Coupe, non je couperai pas. En fait mon truc là, le problème c'est que si je coupe mes cheveux, c'est bien qu'elle était silencieuse. Ouais, bah je me suis dit il y aura peut-être pas grand monde qui va regarder, du coup je vais pas me faire chier à mettre le micro et tout, mais bon du coup puisqu'apparemment vous êtes là et que vous avez envie de voir quelqu'un à 22h qui a passé une journée entière à jouer à Genshin. Non ouais je disais, mon problème là c'est que en fait si je coupe mes cheveux je rase ma tête. Ça il faut bien vous le mettre dans la tête. Là c'est pas, y a pas d'entre-deux. Pas ça, non, t'inquiète, de toute façon je vais trouver un truc pour pouvoir me mute, démute plus rapidement. Ouais, en fait là mon truc c'est que ça fait 1 an et demi que du coup j'attends que mes cheveux repoussent. Puisque suite à un problème de choix de décoloration par le vendeur, j'avais perdu tous mes cheveux il y a 1 an et demi du coup. Et donc là j'ai tout laissé repousser. Mais ouais, là en fait le problème c'est que si je décide de couper mes cheveux, je rase ma tête entièrement. Et après j'attendrai pour que ça pousse jusqu'à la photo que j'ai postée en story. Mais il n'y a pas d'entre-deux en fait, c'est on-off. Coucou Cyrielle. Gros burn capillaire, non, on n'en est pas là. Mais il est vrai que j'ai vu une story qui me plaît plutôt pas mal. J'ai vu une photo qui me plaît plutôt pas mal que j'ai mis en story. Donc voilà. Bon, je vais peut-être rester micro ouvert. On verra bien si j'ai des trucs à dire ou pas. T'es sûr c'est la coupe qui te plaît? Vas-y. Y a pas que la coupe. Mais j'aime bien la coupe aussi. Ça va. J'attends juste que tu te rases pour te faire des flammes roses. Oh putain, c'est vrai qu'on avait dit qu'on ferait ça. Non mais... Faut pas me proposer ça. Mignol, il veut pas rentrer. Ouais, c'est la danse des chats tous les soirs, hein. Pas que quand je suis en stream Wasted. Non, pas Wasted, mais... Faut arrêter de me connaître aussi bien, en fait, aussi au bout d'un moment. Alors, on a dit qu'on faisait ça. Suivre. Ah oui, c'est vrai, si je reclique pas... Voilà, c'est bon, là ça marche. Je vais guetter le bail. Ah, tu vas comprendre de suite, hein. Tu vas comprendre de suite de quoi on parle. Alors, c'est par où? Ah merde. Qu'est-ce que c'est que j'ai fait? Voilà, c'est là qu'il faut aller. C'est ça, hein. Mais oui, c'est cute, je sais, arrêtez. J'aurais jamais dû mettre ça en story. Je me doutais que j'allais avoir quelques détracteurs qui allaient me dire ah, gna gna gna, mais si, vas-y, coupe, c'est trop beau. Mais on verra, on verra. Je cherche pas du tout, c'est faux. C'est juste trop beau, voilà, j'y peux rien. Et la meuf est absolument magnifique en prime, hein. C'est vraiment... Je vous filerai le compte à l'occasion. On tient quelque chose de plutôt pas mal, hein. Soit... Coucou. Tu viens voir ce que j'ai passé la journée à faire? Pourquoi elle est en japonais, elle? J'avais pas mis anglais. Bonjour le chat. Coupe. Non. Vous êtes tous venus sur mon live pour me dire de couper mes cheveux, c'est ça? Incroyable. Bonjour. Attention, il y a quelqu'un. T'aimes pas les voix japonaises ou de fait? Alors si, beaucoup, mais juste en chill, je comprends pas le japonais en fait. Stop, pause. Attends. Hop, que je mode ça. Il faut... Attendez, il faut que je fasse un truc. Merde, non. Bon, tant pis, je ferai ça à chaque fois. Si, j'aime beaucoup les voix japonaises. Dis bonjour le chat. On fera un quiz un jour, un blind test de quel chat on ronronne dans le micro. Savoir si vous arrivez à différencier les ronronnements. Oui, non, du coup, je disais, j'aime beaucoup les voix japonaises. C'est pour ça que moi, je joue toujours en voix japonaise. Mais je pense que la plupart d'entre vous comprennent mieux l'anglais. Moi compris, hein. Voilà, du coup... On va mettre en anglais. C'est quoi le nom des chats? Alors, la petite blanche, c'est Maze. Comme dans la série Lucifer. Puisque c'est vraiment un petit démon. Et l'autre, le gros matou que vous voyez le plus souvent, c'est Shift. Comme la touche pour courir, parce que c'est... Voilà, Maze, c'est les modes que vient de mettre Cyrielle. Et le gros matou c'est Shift parce que, pour vous donner légèrement le lore de ce chat, en gros, il est né chez moi, j'avais sa mère quand il y a 5 ans je crois, un truc comme ça. Et en fait, bébé, il savait pas marcher, il savait que courir. Voilà, faut en faire un avec Shift. Ouais, je sais en plus laquelle on peut mettre. Et je sais pourquoi la faire, Fast Life le chat, c'était déjà vous. C'était vraiment... C'est dommage que j'ai plus de vidéos de cette période-là, parce que mon téléphone avait rendu là, mais j'ai perdu toutes mes photos et vidéos à ce moment-là. Mais vraiment, le chat c'était Tokyo Drift. Hein. Bah alors, me faire des câlins. Force Pro, oui. Ça c'est bon là du coup. Laisse-moi tranquille, toi. Putain, il y a un truc qui change pas, par contre, manette, pas manette, la caméra, t'y vois toujours rien en combat. Hein. Non, je pensais que j'arriverais pas du tout à jouer en manette, et en fait, ça va très bien.
Don't have a vision after all. Seems like I've mistaken you for someone else.
At the very least, you should make sure you've got the right person before you go attacking them. No, wait. Even when you've got the right person, you shouldn't go attacking them out of the blue. It's dangerous.
Have you ever met someone by the name of Kazuha? He carries a sword just like you. I've also heard that he possesses an animal vision. That's none of your business. Never mind. You don't look like you know anything anyway. I'm wasting my time.
Je sais pas si la voix de paiement elle est plus insupportable en anglais ou en jap.
Coming around here waving that weird sword in our faces, and he didn't even apologize. Seems like a real nutcase. Well, one thing's for sure. No way are we telling him anything about Kazuha. Right? Paimon has a feeling, though, that even if this guy gets to challenge Kazuha to a duel, he won't be able to beat him. Anyway, let's be on the safe side. We should go find Kazuha right away and tell him to watch his back. Oh?
I've got an idea.
A special connection? You mean beyond already knowing each other? Maybe a little. But then again, most people look pretty much the same once they start fighting, so that doesn't really prove anything. Anyway, there's no time to lose. Let's go tell Kazuha so we won't get into any danger. Paimon heard that the Crux fleet is stocking up in Rito at the moment. Let's look for him there.
Je sais plus où c'est Rito. Si longtemps que j'ai pas fait cette île. Ça c'est la 3e zone du jeu, si je dis pas de bêtises, qui a été ouverte. En gros, dans l'autre sens. On a eu donc Mondstadt là avec donc toute cette partie. Puis on a eu toute cette partie là qui est Liyue. Jusqu'au gouffre là, le gouffre on l'a eu un peu plus tard mais on a eu tout ça là. Là. Tout ça. Et après, on a eu toutes les îles là. Tout ça. Et du coup la dernière qu'on est en train de faire en temps normal. Mais je comprends absolument pas pourquoi. Pour pouvoir faire les quêtes de... Putain, elle est grande la map. Oh là là, quand elle va être immense, quand elle va être complète. Pour faire les quêtes de ici, il faut finir une quête annexe de là. Pas compris. Mais bon, bref, on va la faire. C'est pas ça que je voulais faire. Why not, hein. Peut-être on va avoir besoin de Kazuha pour les prochaines quêtes. Peut-être. Il est où le bateau?
You're looking for Kazuha too, huh? Guess he must have done something impressive after all. Well, we took the small vessels into Rito on a routine supply run, only this time, as soon as we entered the harbor, we ran into a huge crowd of Inazumans, all of them wanting to know about Kazuha. If it's because of that battle on Nizuchi Beach, Captain Beto had a great run there too, but I don't see her getting this kind of attention. Kazuha keeps to himself most of the time. In fact, there are times when he doesn't even listen to the captain, but she just laughs it off.
Oh, so you still don't know what he did?
I've heard bits and pieces. Something about him blocking the Raiden Shogun's Muso no Hitotachi. Is it really as big a deal as everyone's making it out to be?
C'est comme l'attaque de Beidou qui a éliminé Aison.
Really? Wow. When you put it like that, it all makes sense. In that case, his newfound stardom is well deserved. He was called away earlier by some people from the Tenryou Commission. They said they had something important to discuss with him. I thought they'd come to arrest him at first. Turns out they couldn't have been friendlier to him. Seems like they really respect the guy.
Just a little while ago, this would have been completely unimaginable. Thank you! Guess we'll go pay a visit to the Tenryou Commission.
All right then. I'll just stay here and carry on trying to fend off the crowd.
Tu veux rentrer ou pas? Oui? Non, peut-être, je sais pas. Évidemment que non. C'est à l'autre bout de l'île, ça. Bah ouais.
Oh? It's you.
Greetings. We were just discussing the repealing of the Vision Hunt decree. Since you're here, you're very welcome to listen in on the conversation. We invited Mr. Kaidahara here to extend a gesture of goodwill on behalf of the Shogunate. Your hard work has secured for us the agreeable state of affairs that we now enjoy. Also, I've been granted the chance to correct my clan's past mistakes, and for that, I'm deeply grateful. The Almighty Shogun has issued a large array of directives aimed at resolving, or at least easing, the tensions that have built up over the years. The Tri-Commission has made the recommendation to use this opportunity to restore the honor of the Kaidahara name. Regarding the history of the Kaidahara clan, I trust that you're already somewhat informed? In short, there was once a group of select bladesmiths who served the Shogun directly, responsible for upholding and further developing the traditional blade forging arts of the Almighty Shogun. The Kaidahara clan belonged to this class. But there came a time when some of these bladesmiths revolted and fled to Snezhnaya. Both the Kaidahara and Kamisato clans were held accountable for lax oversight and entered a period of great turmoil. We later learned that the whole misadventure had been secretly orchestrated by the Fatui. Attributing all of the blame to the Kamisato and Kaidahara clans was neither proper nor just. Considering Mr. Kaidahara has once more made an outstanding contribution to Inazuma, the Almighty Shogun believes he should not only be rewarded for his achievements, but also receive recompense for the excessive punishment borne by his clan in the past. In the interest of preventing further harassment of the Bladesmith clans by the Fatui, we chose not to publicly release the findings of our investigations into these matters. We trust you can understand why this was necessary.
This is a true honor. I am delighted to be in a position to receive the goodwill of the almighty Shogun, and the Shogunate at large. However, would I be correct to assume that this magnanimous gesture does not come without some strings attached?
I can assure you that nothing could be further from the truth. We seek only to correct a past injustice. With the Kaedahara clan's reputation and occupation restored, the Kaedaharas will be bladesmiths once more, and your wanderings will finally come to an end. You will be able to lead a safe and prosperous life in Inazuma City with the almighty Shogun's blessing and full support of the Shogunate.
I have grown accustomed to life among the elements. I fear I would no longer feel at home behind the tall walls of a stately abode. Yet my ancestors did indeed take great pride in the name of Kaedahara, and the art of blade making for which it stood. I do have a responsibility to restore their honor.
I sense some hesitation in your words. Should you accept this offer, I imagine many of the malicious rumors currently circulating through the populace will disappear.
Malicious rumors? All we heard on the way here was so much praise that we almost wondered whether there was another Kaedahara Kazuha in town.
Well, to some, the Muso no Hitotachi is something that can never be defeated. They cannot accept the idea that Mr. Kaedahara really parried the Shogun's strike. Also, eyewitnesses saw him using the power of Electro in addition to that of Animo. As a result, the falsehood that Kaedahara Kazuha was using a delusion began to spread.
What? But that doesn't make sense. Using a delusion turns you old and frail, and Kazuha still looks fine.
That is correct. However, to some people, the idea of a single person wielding two elements at once is a more inconceivable notion still.
This is just one of many similar rumors. I am very uncomfortable with being the subject of public discussion, no matter whether it brings suspicion or stardom my way. But perhaps if the Shogunate is willing to publicly support me, this situation will blow over more quickly.
This is precisely why I encourage you to give our offer some serious thought. It stands to benefit all of us.
Please allow me some time to consider. In fact, let us put this discussion on hold for the moment. Well then, what brings the two of you here?
Yikes! We nearly forgot about the most important thing!
Why would such a dangerous individual be looking for me? No, this puzzles me as much as it does you. My fighting forms were taught to me by my family, based on techniques originally developed for blade testing. We undergo rigorous training to standardize every motion the blade is put through, so that each can be fairly assessed for quality. Over time, these techniques came to form something of a Kaedahara sword art, focused on blade testing, but with a full repertoire of combat forms. Those forms are quite different from the more practical ones typically used by samurai in battle. So it's hard to imagine that the similarity you speak of was coincidence alone.
All the more reason to watch your back! This guy was a serious nutcase.
Indeed. He sounds highly aggressive. Anyone he targets is at risk of serious injury, or worse.
In that case, I will send some men out immediately to search for him.
Thank you. I must say I am now very curious about this matter, and I will also need some time to consider your offer. I will first join the Traveler in investigating the one who attacked her, then give you a conclusive answer upon my return.
Very well. Please stay safe.
Come on. Let's go and track down your aggressor.
The detective agency knows the most about what goes on in town. Let's see what Ryuji has to say.
Faut que je règle un truc, sinon ça va m'emmerder. Donc là il marche plus. Et il faut que je puisse mute et démute mon micro à distance. Miaulement là, voilà, pour cette raison aussi, faut que je puisse mute et démute mon micro. Est-ce que là... C'est bon, ça marche, j'ai réussi. Je me suis fait une sorte de... Maze, non, pas Maze, ça c'est Shift. Non, si vous entendez miauler en général, ce sera Shift, hein, ce sera le gros. Ouais, c'est celui qui aime le plus communiquer. Qu'est-ce qui t'arrive? Voilà. Hop. Maze, elle te toise, c'est ça. Elle juste, elle te regarde chelou. Je me rappelle plus qui c'est, Ryuji. C'est loin ou pas? Oui. Pas s'emmerder à prendre la route. Ah si, c'est le mec des détectives.
Hey there. I'd like to ask you a quick question. Do you know if anyone around here has been looking for him? For Kaidahara Kazuha, we mean.
Aha! So this is the renowned Mr. Kaidehara. I've heard a lot about you. It is an honor to finally meet you today.
You are too kind. We are currently investigating an assault and would appreciate any help you can offer.
Oh? You were targeted in an assault? Let me think. I can't seem to recall anything of immediate interest. Mr. Kaidehara is currently the talk of the town, so there are always a lot of people looking for him. To be honest with you, our detective agency has recently been receiving many inquiries from people wishing to obtain Mr. Kaidehara's personal information. Some of them were offering us millions of mora just to gather the information they want. If these were more legitimate commissions, Sango would have snapped them up in an instant.
Millions? Of mora? Whoa! Oh, wait, even at that price, you probably still shouldn't.
Please, accept my thanks for looking out for my privacy.
Of course. No matter what, we only take on legitimate cases. We don't make our money by revealing details of other people's day-to-day life just for the sake of it. Sorry, I got a little off topic. What I'm really trying to say is, it doesn't surprise me that a complete stranger is looking for Mr. Kaedehara. But I wouldn't know where to begin if we want to connect this with an assault.
Then let's put that connection aside for now. Have there been any other attacks or similar incidents recently that stand out as particularly unusual? The Tenryou Commission had very few leads, and I thought you might have some information from different sources.
It's true that the commissioners aren't clued up about every little thing that goes on out in the streets. But typically, it's only the most trivial events that manage to escape their attention. If anyone had been out there attacking people, that would be assault, in which case the Tenryou Commission would absolutely get involved.
like the trail's already run cold.
I still find it difficult to believe that whoever attacked you hasn't been causing any trouble elsewhere. Few people possess your prowess in battle. So unless you were the first person he targeted, someone is certain to have been hurt by now. I am well aware of your talents. There is no need to be humble around me. In fact, I'm quite relieved that you were the one he targeted. It would cause me great grief to see someone become critically injured or lose their life because of me. For the poor victim, this would be a completely senseless crime.
Don't worry, we'll find him.
It seems you are every bit the selfless hero they make you out to be, Mr. Kaedehara. Surely this same concern for your fellow man is what drove you to fearlessly raise your blade against the almighty Shogun.
You flatter me. Truth be told, I don't know quite what came over me in that moment.
You are much too humble. Don't worry, I completely understand your concerns. I will try my best to gather whatever leads I can for you. Oh, actually, there was one strange incident over the last few days. It doesn't involve an attack, though. Let me tell you about it just in case.
Sure. During times like this, the more information we have, the better.
All right then. Recently, 2 people went missing from the city at around the same time. One of them is a pretty well-known collector, surnamed Nagato. The other, Amenoma Yuya, is a samurai from the Amenoma clan.
Amenoma! Now there's a familiar name.
Right. Yuya is the nephew of Amenoma Togo, the owner of Amenoma Smithy. 2 grown men going missing at the same time. Their cases are likely connected, but I don't know much in the way of details. I recalled this because Amenoma Yuya is also an accomplished martial artist who is skilled with the blade. Perhaps he is the one you are looking for.
Understood, though it seems highly unlikely to me. I neither know this man, nor do I have any idea why he may wish to attack me.
Sure, can't hurt. We never know what we might find out along the way.
Thank you, Ryuji. We'll start by making some inquiries at the Amenoma Smithy.
Sounds good. All the best with your investigation. I'll get moving shortly myself.
Le jeu est absolument magnifique et juste après ça, attends, je t'amène à un endroit absolument magnifique que je vous ai pas encore montré parce qu'on n'est pas, ça sert à rien qu'on y aille pour le jeu, mais c'est trop beau.
Ah, if it isn't Kaedehara Kazuha, what brings you here today?
Huh? You two know each other?
Yes, the Kaedehara and Amenoma clans were both members of the Raiden Gokaden. Historically, there have always been deep links between the 2 clans. After I returned to Inazuma, I visited Mr. Amenoma to pay my respects. Let me quickly explain. The Raiden Gokaden was the collective term for the 5 most acclaimed bladesmithing arts in Inazuma. The techniques of blade making were personally bequeathed to the Raiden Gokaden by the almighty Shogun, and over time, further honed and enhanced by the most talented craftsmen. Unfortunately, a series of events led to the gradual decline of many clans in the bladesmithing trade. Today, only the Amenoma clan has kept its art alive.
So sad.
It is a great pity indeed. In the old days, we each had our specialties, and just as iron sharpens iron, so too did we learn much from each other. As an example, the Amenoma art strives to emulate the abiding patience and determination of water as it turns stone to sand. There is nothing mystical to our work. There is only practice, day in and day out, until both body and mind have memorized the craft, turning each motion of every technique into an intrinsic part of the bladesmith's life. As for the art of the Kaedehara clan,
I believe it's called the Ishin art.
That's right. Ishin art strives for complete harmony between blade and mind from the moment that forging begins. For only a blade thus forged can capture and convey its maker's thoughts and feelings, and eventually become an extension of its wielder's will.
Indeed. Most samurai choose their blades, but an Ishin blade chooses its owner. You are, without a doubt, the most worthy wielder of an Ishin blade. It gladdens my heart to see that although the Kaedahara clan has fallen on hard times, its ideals and virtues are alive and well.
You overestimate me. My actions are guided by my own personal sentiments, not by any noble aspirations on behalf of my clan. But let's get back on topic. The purpose of our visit today is to gather some information on your missing nephew. We hope to assist with the investigation. It may turn out that this case is connected to another we are pursuing.
Ah, yes. My nephew. I reported the case to the Tenryo Commission, but I haven't heard anything back so far. He didn't say a word before he left, which is very unlike him. I'm still completely at a loss on what to make of it, but I've done what I can so far. Worrying is futile. All I can do now is wait for the news from the Tenryo Commission.
We heard that there was a collector involved in the disappearance too. Know anything about that?
Yes. On the morning that Yuya went missing, he gave me a very cryptic look and said that he was going to give me a great gift. I believe he went to collect the item from Mr. Nagato after that. The next thing I heard was that a fire had broken out at the warehouse, and neither of them came back. Yes, strange, isn't it? I wonder what could have caused it. Unfortunately, there was very little evidence left behind, so nobody knows what really happened.
Do you have any thoughts on what Yuya may have wanted to give you?
If I had to guess, it must have been some kind of rare weapon. Otherwise, there would have been no reason for him to get my hopes up. He's never been particularly interested in blade forging, but has always had a fondness for blade testing, and can sense even the most minute differences in blade quality. He is extraordinarily talented in martial arts, particularly when it comes to the art of the sword.
Truth be told, we have some information that you may find to be objectionable. The person we are looking for, he attacked this friend of mine. Based on the evidence we have gathered so far, only Yuya seems to match the suspect's profile.
What? No. Absolutely impossible. Yuya is not that kind of person. He is humble and kind. Even his training is done with the goal of calming his mind. He has never gotten into a fight before.
Is that so?
Yes. If there's one thing I can say for certain, it's that Yuya would never draw his blade without a very good reason. But, with that said, it's equally out of character for him to just disappear, with neither farewell nor fair warning. I also cannot know what course of action he might be capable of if coerced, or otherwise compelled by circumstances unbeknownst to me. Anyway, should you find him, please let me know as soon as possible.
Don't worry, you have our word.
From the sound of that, Paimon doesn't think Yuya was the one who attacked us as well.
Yes. It sounds as if something happened when the two men met each other. Let's pay a visit to the Nagato household.
Je me suis perdue. Je me suis perdue, c'est pas par là qu'on monte. Allez, rentre.
I'm very sorry, but we cannot afford to pay what we owe right now. My husband has gone missing, and I'm still trying to find him.
No, you misunderstand us. We are here to help with the investigation. We'd like to ask you some questions about Mr. Nagato's disappearance, if we may.
Ah, I see. I thought the debt collectors had come to visit again. I'm sorry you have to see me in this dreadful state. Has some new information come out? Do you know where he's gone?
I'm afraid we don't have any new information at the moment. We're still trying to find out as much as we can to inform our search. With this in mind, can we perhaps ask some questions about your family's current situation?
For example, Paimon's struggling to understand why a collector would be strapped for Mora.
That's a long story. Ever since I've known him, he's been an avid collector of all sorts of things. He'd always get so animated when he was showing them to me. I knew nothing about the items myself, but seeing how enthusiastic and excited they made him, I was happy to believe that they were just extremely important to him. Everything was fine when we first got married, but as time went by, things changed for the worse.
Uh-oh, what happened?
He lost his sense of restraint. He started buying more and more things, and even resorted to borrowing money just so he could pay for them. Our expenses really spiraled out of control when he started getting interested in weapons. It was awful. There were days when he'd spend hours down at the warehouse, admiring his weapons even as debt collectors were descending upon our house. He wouldn't sell them, wouldn't even touch them. Just sat there staring at them like he was in a trance. I'm happy he has a hobby, and I'm willing to support him. But making ends meet has to come first. I've tried talking to him about it so many times, but he never listens. On the last day that I saw him,
Meuf, il faut le quitter à un moment, le monsieur, là.
I said,
Il est temps de partir.
to sell his collectibles and pay off his debts. I would divorce him and take the children with me.
Whoa!
Bah voilà.
And that led to an argument.
Actually, it didn't. Generally, he's a quiet man who likes to go with the flow. On most things, he leaves the decision-making to me. You must understand, I never would have dreamed of threatening him with divorce if the debts hadn't pushed our family to the brink. After I said those words, he froze and was silent for a long time. When he finally spoke, he awkwardly mumbled that he would pick out a few items to sell. His voice was so meek and pitiful that I felt an urge to take everything back. But then what? If I didn't draw the line, what would happen to our family? Had I not indulged his bad habits, we wouldn't have found ourselves in such a predicament. And I also don't know if he had actually come to his senses, or if he was simply angry with me. The next thing I heard was that our warehouse had caught fire, and both he and the buyer had gone missing.
I see. I understand. Ame Yuya came to purchase a weapon from Mr. Nagato. During the sale, a fire broke out at the warehouse, and both men disappeared.
At first, I assumed they must have gotten into an argument over the price. But my husband has never been one to negotiate. He never even haggles when he's out buying groceries, so it's hard to imagine him getting into a fierce argument.
Maybe he was feeling the pressure from the debts?
I don't know. He just disappeared after the warehouse burned down. Perhaps he's too afraid to come home now that all his collectibles have been lost in the fire, and he's got no way to pay off our debts. Even though I'm still a little mad at him, we're a family, and I want us to face our family's crisis together. As long as he's willing to turn over a new leaf, I know we can work things out.
Please don't get upset. There could be more to this situation than meets the eye. If collecting things is a habit that Mr. Nagato had his whole life, it is quite unusual for this habit to change so drastically over a short period. But the information we gathered from the other side suggests Amenoma Yuya is also a mild-mannered man who would not be likely to start an argument. This situation is getting a little confusing.
A little confusing? More like completely mystifying.
Let's try a change of scenery and see if we can piece together what we've learned. Rest assured, we'll notify you if we find anything.
Thank you so much. I just want him to come home.
Based on the information we've gathered so far, I can only surmise that the sales meeting between the two men was somehow the catalyst for their disappearance. The fire at the warehouse likely played a part in how the situation unfolded, though its exact role is a mystery. Do you have any thoughts?
Well, Paimon was thinking that maybe someone accidentally knocked over an oil lamp and, nope, never mind. Paimon's brain needs to rest for a while. Over to you.
An interesting explanation. I was also considering this possibility. Amenoma Yuya is an expert on swords. He could have noticed some problematic details about Mr. Nagato's collectibles. Maybe he recognized a blade as a fake, or a well-known stolen item. Either way, after arguing about it, the two men agreed to hide the truth of this matter. They thought a fire would destroy everything. But then the Tenryo Commission began investigating and uncovered some incriminating details, so they fled to protect their secrets. But it's a far-fetched theory. I can't imagine how they would have been able to reach an agreement. One fact that I keep coming back to is that Amenoma Yuya is polite and well-mannered, while Mr. Nagato is introverted and passive. Neither seems like the type of person who is inclined towards initiating conflict. Mr. Nagato, being heavily in debt, is also the only one of them with the potential motive to disappear after the fire. The more I ponder it, the more puzzling it becomes. Just what could have happened there? Right. Although the time frame seems to broadly match, no other details that we've learned seem to link the two events together. Amenoma Yuya lacks a key distinguishing feature of the attacker, namely that he is principally a practitioner of the blade testing techniques of Amenoma art, not those of the combat-oriented Ishin art.
Darn! We thought we could get two birds with one stone here, but at this rate, it's starting to look like a wild goose chase.
Let's keep going, since we've come this far. If we can solve the case, both Mr. Amenoma and Mrs. Nagato will be able to get some closure.
Okay, but where should we go now?
Let's head out of the city and check out the warehouse. There's still a chance we may be able to find some shreds of evidence. Wait. I hear something ominous in the wind.
Oh! This must be another one of those sounds that only you can hear. As sketchy as that whole thing seems, you did put it to good use when we were chasing down that vision thief at Beto's tournament, so...
Now I'm picking up a strong scent in addition to the sound. It's right around here somewhere.
But there's nothing here.
It's gone now, but I can still sense the direction it left in. It felt very much like that ancient presence in Inazuma, the remnants of the Tatarigami. Indeed, but this unexpected spring of inauspicious energy may prove to be of benefit to our investigation. We should remain vigilant and approach slowly.
J'ai un peu succombé.
Underground warehouse.
Légèrement.
This is definitely coming from down below.
Mais continue à parler, parler.
The source of the Tatarigami energy has long since left this place, but the residue it left behind still hasn't dissipated completely. Judging from the concentration, I would have to conclude that the Tatarigami source resided here for a very long time.
Mrs. Nagato said her husband used to hang around the warehouse by himself a lot.
It could well be that he was already under the influence of Tatarigami energy at that time. From what I've been told, Tatarigami does not turn all upon whom it preys into violent monsters, but most will develop a stubborn streak upon being exposed to the Tatarigami's unfulfilled will. Their interests become fanatical obsessions. Mr. Nagato had an interest in collecting to begin with. The influence of Tatarigami could explain why he became an obsessive hoarder, amassing more and more possessions, even as he put himself in grave debt.
So what should we do now? Go down and take a look?
Step back. I'll open the door and take a look inside. If we don't open this door, we can move no closer to the truth. You needn't worry. Both of us have faced far greater dangers than this. Relatively speaking, the risk here is trivial.
What's down there?
Everything's buried in debris. I can't see anything. It looks like the fire caused a cave-in, reducing the entire warehouse to rubble.
That was too scary! Paimon was so sure that the warehouse boogeyman was about to jump out at us!
All we can do now is keep searching in the direction that the Tatarigami energy source left this place. 2 ordinary humans, entangled with the Tatarigami. I fear much misfortune has already befallen them. Yes, let's go. If nothing else, it's vital that we find out where this Tatarigami energy is coming from. Quiet your mind and focus on what you sense around you. Perhaps you too will perceive its ominous presence in the wind.
Qui C'est où il faut qu'on aille là-bas. Je croyais qu'il fallait qu'on descende. Dire mais il n'y a que des débris.
From this point, the trail appears to split into
J'ai pas
two.
d'habitude du tout des voix anglaises, très perturbant, surtout Paimon. Je sais pas avec quelle voix est-ce qu'elle est le plus insupportable en vrai.
And seems to be dissipating slowly. Quite possibly. Let's search the area.
Mis en anglais, normalement je les ai en japonais, mais là j'ai mis en anglais comme ça c'est plus simple à suivre.
Whoa! Look at all those hilly churls. They're acting really strangely.
Something seems to be drawing their
Il a vu des lits de Charlou.
Let's take a closer look.
Ils sont où les brutaux? Ah oui là.
Speed of light. Boba, get them! Don't blink. Cut to the chase.
Trouve la voix anglaise plus perçante, moins enfantine. Pff. Aussi insupportable dans les deux en vrai. Alors, je sais pas si c'est tant la voix qui est insupportable ou le fait qu'ils aient fait le personnage complètement débile. En vrai.
Speed of light.
It's...
Ugh. Look at this red stuff. What is it?
By the looks of it, a letter, written on a piece of torn clothing. The ink is bone dry. It must have been written quite some time ago. Well, let's take a look.
Je m'appelle Nagato. J'ai été blessé par Amenoma Yuna. Il a pris ma plus précieuse lame, je l'ai poursuivi mais je n'ai pas pu l'attraper. Je me suis allongée ici pour me reposer car j'étais épuisée. J'ai cru que j'allais y rester, mon ventre n'arrêtait pas de saigner. Mais il semble qu'une force étrange me soit venue en aide. Pourquoi s'est-il emparé de ma lame? Je lui ai pourtant bien dit que j'allais lui vendre. Il a même mis le feu à mon entrepôt. Ah oui, c'est Yuya qui a fait ça, ok. La douleur est insupportable, qu'est-ce que ça fait mal? Mais je ne peux pas perdre conscience. Tout ce que je peux faire pour garder ma concentration est d'écrire ces mots. Que va-t-il arriver à Sachiko, Yuchi et Yuji? Ce n'est que maintenant que je réalise à quel point je m'obstinais à suivre la mauvaise voie. J'ai dû être ensorcelée. J'ai amassé cette multitude d'objets loufoques, et pourtant je n'en ai tiré aucun bonheur ni réconfort. Toutes ces possessions mises ensemble ne valent même pas une seule parole sortie de sa bouche. Merci, et désolé de t'avoir laissé tomber, Sachiko. Le fait que le personnage soit bête et agaçant, et qu'en plus ce perso parle pour toi, c'est vraiment le truc qui me gonfle. Bah, en fait, le pire, c'est qu'elle parle même pas pour moi, c'est-à-dire que quand je choisis des dialogues, il n'y a même pas une voix qui fait mes dialogues. Donc c'est... juste, elle parle toute seule.
According to this letter, a conflict arose because Amenoma Yuya wanted to seize a blade belonging to Mr. Nagato. Yuya started the fire that destroyed the warehouse and wounded Mr. Nagato in the fight. Mr. Nagato kept chase as long as he could, eventually stopping here to write this letter when his strength gave out.
So, where is he?
He was not only mortally wounded, but also under the heavy influence of Tatarigami. Add to that the fact that its aura seems to have attracted a horde of monsters and...
Je crois qu'il s'est fait grailler.
Whatever traces there may have been of his fate beyond after this point, they've since been disturbed by the hilly churls. There's nothing more for us to find here. Yes, right now we need to uncover some more important truths. If Amenoma Yuya is attacking other people indiscriminately, then the longer we take to find him, the more people risk meeting the same tragic end.
So let's get moving!
I wouldn't be surprised if he, too, fell prey to the influence of the Tatarigami. For a practitioner of the martial arts, the easiest desire to inflame would be their pursuit of further power and skill. All the clues that at first seemed disparate and disconnected, it seems that now we know the thread that runs between them. I have a hypothesis that, if it's correct, not only explains the series of events leading to the two men's disappearance, but also zeroes in on the attacker's identity.
Wait, you figured it out? So these two cases are connected after all?
I believe so. But it's something of an outlandish idea. I will only be able to confirm my suspicions once we've met him in person. On with the search. We must stay vigilant. At any point now, we may find ourselves in danger.
que j'entends par parler pour toi, c'est que parfois elle parle littéralement comme si t'en étais pas capable de prêter attention. Ah oui, ouais. Je vois. Non mais... J'ai sauté!
He seems to have stayed here for a long time.
Why here? Is there anything special about this place?
I'm not sure. But on closer examination, I sense that the aura may have lingered here at several different points in time. Show yourself! It's no use hiding anymore.
Kaedehara Kazuha. It's you, at last.
Aha! So it is the same guy from before! What's your problem, huh? What could you possibly have against Kazuha?
Indeed, there should be no enmity between us. If it is Ame no Meyuya that stands before us. But what if instead of facing Ame no Meyuya, we are in fact facing the blade in his hand?
Now that you mention it, it is giving off a strange light. Whoa! Surely you don't mean... Are you serious?
Tatarigami energy often lodges itself within physical objects, then works to subtly affect any living organisms in its vicinity. The blade has resided in Mr. Nagato's warehouse for many years, affecting his state of mind, and more recently using the sale as a means to affect, or rather as a means to occupy, Ame no Meyuya's body.
You're sharper than I thought. You've already deduced the truth of the matter. Many years ago, I was forged by a famed bladesmith of the Ishin tradition. I was his pride and joy. In me, he placed all his hopes and dreams. As a descendant of the Kaedehara clan, you should be able to guess our greatest regret.
I presume it has something to do with the Raiden Gokaden.
Indeed. At that point in time, he failed to live up to the Raiden Shogun's expectations. In the end, all he could do was to flee the nation by sea on a ship bound for Snezhnaya. He was a bladesmith of great renown, a master of his craft. There was nothing that he could not accomplish. All he needed was more time and a little faith. And sure enough, in the end, he achieved what he had set out to do. All of his life's work, his wisdom, his skill, it culminated in his creation of me. He not only bestowed upon me the greatest of strength, but also endowed me with a consciousness of my own. In her conceit, the Raiden Shogun lost not only the single most perfect blade in the entire world, but also an irreplaceable achievement in the art of blade forging.
So... swords can become conscious and control people?
The people of the time in which I was born never believed I had that kind of power. They saw me as a mere blade, a sharp and well-crafted one, but in all other respects an ordinary weapon. But that gave me the opportunity to take action. After the death of my creator, I decided to leave Snezhnaya and began my long quest to return to the distant land of Inazuma. Moving from one person to the next, I controlled the minds of countless hosts along the way, each bringing me one step closer to my ancestral home. I seek but one thing: to face the full force of the Raiden Shogun's blade and prove my power, the might of Ishin art.
Ah, so Ame no Meyuya was not your first victim. Tell me, what happens to those you've possessed when you've finished using them?
My hosts? Who cares what happens to them? They are but tools that serve my mission. When they got tired, or injured, or unusable, I hopped to the next one in line. All I needed them for was to take me back to Inazuma.
You're awful.
After I returned to Inazuma, I decided to bide my time in Nagato's warehouse until Amenoma Yuya handed himself over to me on a silver platter. At long last, I'm approaching my journey's destination. By Amenoma Yuya's body, I have found you, and by your hand, I shall defeat the Raiden Shogun. Kaedehara Kazuha, you stood against the Raiden Shogun's Muso no Hitotachi. There can be no other to serve as my host for what is to come. Now, give your body over to me!
On se calme un peu là quand même, hein. On dirait la voix de Travis Willingham, je sais pas du tout qui c'est. Oh! Ouais, oh, oh, oh. On se calme. Merde. Je suis trompée. Pas depuis assez longtemps. Effectivement, pas lui, mais sa voix est très proche, par moments c'est bizarre. Ok.
Fallen leaves, adorn my night.
Il est où?
Time to go. Wind Strider.
Ça suffit.
Wind Strider.
Comédien doublage américain très connu qui a fait énormément de voix pour Marvel et DC. Ok.
Your bluff's fooling no one. You've lost.
Lost? I can never lose. It is this body that has reached its limit, nothing more. Even if you defeat me here, the one who falls will not be me, but this man. He is but a puppet that can be replaced. I can take a new vessel at will. The end result is the same. I will end this wretch's life before you can lift a finger. And even if I were to lose my physical form, it is but a small setback. My consciousness shall endure. By any means necessary, and any medium available, I shall return and fulfill my destiny!
Your fighting style. It is indeed the forms of Ishin art. But from your movements, I sense only hatred and arrogance, as well as a thinly veiled mania and despair.
Really? You can tell all that just from his moves?
As I've mentioned before, the forms of Ishin art convey the user's thoughts and feelings. Since the blade is currently possessing Amenoma Yuya's body, its movements express the innermost thoughts of the blade. If you ask me, the mania is probably due to your desperate, single-minded ambition.
J'ai monté un peu le
You
son,
believe
Iris, c'est mieux.
I am your only hope.
Are you trying to claim that I am helpless without you? On his deathbed, he passed to me all of Ishin art's secrets. The little that you know barely scratches the surface. In that regard, why would I ever need your help?
Because all of that is in the past. I've been wondering why you've not caused more trouble in all the years that you've been in Inazuma. If you are indeed a cursed blade that can possess its owner. Now that I've seen inside your mind, everything finally makes sense. You weren't biding your time. You were trapped. After all the time that's passed, you have grown weak. To the point that you are now unable to acquire a new host without making physical contact.
Oh, that's right. Paimon remembers now. Mr. Nagato had a habit of never touching his collectibles.
Only when Mr. Nagato witnessed his wife's distress and decided to sell his collectibles did you finally have an opportunity to reach out to Amenoma Yuya and make your escape.
And what of it?
Well, that brings me to my second point. There's a despair in you that is so strong it threatens to overwhelm you. You were determined to fulfill your maker's ambition, whatever the cost. But this ambition is too grand and too heavy for you to bear. Each step you have taken has come at a great cost. I think you realized your limitations long ago. The more you clenched your teeth and pressed forward, the greater your fear of losing everything you had achieved grew, and the more you wished to run from the truth. But the way I see it, what began as an ambition has long since become a delusional fantasy.
What would you know about any of this? I'm just one step away from achieving my goal!
You returned to Inazuma to prove the unparalleled brilliance of Ishin art. But to make this arduous journey, you committed countless atrocities and showed a blatant disregard for human life. Even if you were to sever that divine light, is this truly the outcome that your maker would have desired?
You...
Sure, you inherited the secrets of Ishin art. But even as you made your journey to honor this legacy, you treated the ones who wielded you as mere tools to do your bidding. How could you possibly unleash the full potential of Ishin art when you act in perfect discordance with the principle of harmony between a blade and its bearer?
Silence, you blabbering fool! I must achieve my goal. This was his life's dream, and the very purpose for which I was brought into being. I will concede that you are most perceptive. You see my predicament clearly. But you also underestimate my resolve.
And you should face reality.
Easy for you to say. Facing reality offers me nothing. I have no need of anything that would stand in my way. Not hesitation, not self-reflection, and certainly not your so-called reality. It is pointless to argue further, descendant of the Kaedahara clan. If you wish to save this man, then offer me your body in exchange.
How stubbornly you stick to your wayward path. I do not believe for a second that you can challenge the almighty Shogun in your current state. So let us make a bet, and I will put your strength to the test.
What? Surely you're not planning to agree to his demands.
Very well. Then find yourself some enemies with whom you wish to cross blades. A taste of my power will more than convince you.
Va dire moi.
Once we have dealt with them, we shall proceed to Tenshukaku.
And as for your end of the bargain, if you lose, you must release Amenoma Yuya from your control.
I accept.
Don't do this, Kazuha!
This is the only way to save Amenoma Yuya. If we don't do this, he'll forever be the Blade's puppet. The Cursed Blade's strength is currently very weak, and I sense he's hesitating. This suggests his heart is still not completely devoid of honor. The power of the Tatarigami lies in intensifying existing obsessions. This is the reason Mr. Nagato and Amenoma Yuya fell prey to it. Since I don't have any similar kinds of obsessions, I should be able to put up some resistance for a while.
But even so...
Even if things take a turn for the worse,
Vraiment
I
la
still
voix
have
prévenue,
you
j'en
both
peux
here
plus.
with me. We have a chance here to save an innocent victim. I am willing to accept the risks entailed.
Your disdain for me betrays your woeful ignorance. I agreed to this bet because there are things I wish to learn too. Now, take me in your hand.
T'arrêtes la merde.
Kazuha?
I'm okay. I felt a little dizzy at first, but only for a moment. It's all right. So far, this was as I expected. I will. Thank you.
What should we do next? Have you got a plan, Kazuha?
We find some enemies. Although this blade has endured much turmoil, it probably hasn't experienced many real fights. If a blade built for Ishin art cannot enter a state of harmony between blade and bearer, it cannot unleash its true power. If he wants to avoid reality, then we need to fight until he has no choice but to face it. He shouldn't last long in an intense combat situation.
Wait a minute! Paimon remembers hearing about something from the Adventurers Guild. Since the Takasukasa clan abandoned that secret base, it's been held by Ronin ever since.
Ah, all right. Please lead the way.
What about Amanoma Yuya? What should we do with him?
The blade says he'll let Amanoma Yuya trail us silently. Although he hasn't regained his own consciousness yet, he is not in any immediate danger.
Are we sure this is a good idea? It's a pretty treacherous journey. Okay, fine. Just be careful.
J'avais vraiment pas fait gaffe que c'était elle qui parlait pour tout en fait. Je lis les trucs très rapidement en général. C'est vrai que c'est assez chiant. À quel point tu veux que je fasse une voix aiguë? Oui. Ouais. Alors, bah parfait. Je sais pas si... Cyrielle, je sais pas si t'es encore sur le live. Ce que je voulais te montrer tout à l'heure, c'était ça. C'est juste trop beau. Tu sais pourquoi je disais ça du coup? Ouais, du coup je vois. J'ai jamais trop accroché à ce jeu, mais c'est vrai que l'ambiance est belle. Pourquoi t'avais pas accroché? Ah mais non, c'est parce que je l'ai foutu dans mon équipe tout à l'heure, c'est pas du tout parce que je voulais tester le personnage. Bon, on va le garder pour le lore. J'ai joué 15 minutes, niveau gameplay c'est cool, mais l'univers me repousse. Ah ouais?
Leave everything on this journey to me.
Après, peut-être que 15 minutes, c'est pas beaucoup.
Time to go. The wind knows me. As one with wind and cloud.
Mais il est trop bien, pourquoi je le joue pas?
How are you feeling? You okay?
I'm all right.
Je vois un autre aspect,
Blade
c'est
is
déjà
performing
mieux.
largely as I
les...
expected.
En vrai, les
Having
premières
gone
heures
so
de jeu
long
sont un peu
without proper
compliquées.
use and maintenance, it's become very difficult to use. Though he's making every effort to persevere, I do not think he can last much longer.
Le début est vraiment très compliqué, il faut que t'arrives... Oh, mais ta gueule! Pardon.
How strange.
Bon. Apparemment, je parle pas
Rather
parler.
than trying to control me, he is instead trying to match my fighting rhythm. Let's keep going.
Il est buffé là avec l'épée, mais c'est un de mes persos préférés. Ouais, non, moi quand je disais il est trop bien, pourquoi je joue pas, je parlais des mécaniques. Je sais que c'est pas mes stats ça. Clairement pas mes stats ça. Du coup, je me disais, le début du jeu est un peu compliqué parce que t'as toutes les mécaniques à comprendre, il y a énormément de choses au début, on te noie un peu sous plein de trucs, sous plein d'infos. Du coup, je comprends que ce soit pas très facile
Into the wind.
au début. Et que ça puisse repousser, surtout quand tu commences et que tu joues pas 20 heures d'affilée.
Wind Strider. Fallen leaves. Adorn my night. The wind knows me.
Whoa! Something's up with the blade!
Demon Slayer vibe un peu. Oh, peut-être un peu là, mais en vrai, pas du tout.
I can sense that his strength is slowly fading away. The blade is becoming more and more difficult for me to wield. He cannot hold out much longer. If he keeps persisting, he will likely break apart at any moment.
But what would that do to Amanome Yuya?
I will be careful with it. He also says he does not have any plans to give up easily. He's still trying to achieve his goal.
Immense perso Kazuha no vibe, ouais, là en plus avec l'histoire de l'âme possédée et tout, mais sinon pas du tout.
Time to go.
Aussi parce qu'on est à Inazuma, j'imagine. Quelque chose me dit que lui, on va pas réussir à le battre.
One with nature. Into the wind. Clouds hide. The birds call.
Ah si.
Are you okay?
Je pensais que ça
It
s'arrêterait à
looked like you
mid-boss.
were really struggling the entire fight!
Yes. And it looks like he's reached his limit.
Putain, s'il arrive pas à battre
Shane's
même un
grown a bit dimmer
Ronin.
again. It doesn't look anywhere near as impressive as it did at the start.
Perhaps this time we'll finally have a chance to see his true form.
True form? What are you talking about? Huh? What the? Is this the same blade as before? It looks like a piece of junk!
If you choose to continue in the state you're in, you wouldn't even be able to beat Samurai and Kairagi, much less the almighty Shogun. Maybe you did truly wield power to rival the Shogun's light when first forged. But the long journey from Snezhnaya back to Inazuma has left you battered and broken. It barely needs stating anymore. Your ambition is a flight of fancy. I've finally figured out why it was that you agreed to my bet. You wanted to reach a state of harmony with me. For perhaps then you would still be able to wield commendable power. But regrettably, we are nothing alike. I will never understand your obstinacy and cruelty, nor can I empathize with the one who made you. The only one who truly understood you had already passed away by the time you were born.
Huh? What's that supposed to mean?
C'est vrai que la musique de combat s'arrête. Ah, ok, j'aurais dû me taire.
Where do they keep coming from? Yup, we can help this time.
Don't worry, I'll use my own blade. It's just more of the same.
Let's get down to business.
One with nature. Wind Strider. Time to go.
C'était pas mal.
You fought way better with your own sword.
You are a true Kaedehara in flesh and in spirit. Though we fought briefly together, you have seen me for who I really am. No one knew anything of my story throughout my travels, nor did I tell it to anyone. You are the first person to know the truth. I thought that if I could achieve Ishin harmony with you, perhaps there would still be a ray of hope for me.
But in this too, you have failed.
Indeed. No matter how hard I tried, I could not attain that perfect harmony that your personal blade does with you. Too much time has passed. My physical state is poor, and without proper maintenance, I can only disguise my true appearance behind an outer sheen. Yours is the blade that took on the Muso no Hitotachi. And what a magnificent blade it is. Perhaps I shall never reach that level of glory.
Actually, this is just a generic blade that I picked up during my travels in Liyue.
What?
Le truc est vraiment
Forging
nul à
and
chier.
maintenance are both important for a blade, but they are not everything. This blade has traveled the land with me for many years, and we have formed a close bond during that time. Plus, in the moment that I most needed it, I received aid from another power. Skill, blade, determination, and desire. All these must be aligned in the practice of Ishin art. There is something else I must tell you. Though your maker may not have been aware, your ability to possess your own consciousness derived from the power of the Tatarigami. Tatarigami is a malevolence from the ancient past. It is the source of your mania and savagery. Though you tried to cooperate with me while I was wielding you, the part of you driven by Tatarigami was constantly trying to seize control of my body.
I sensed it, but I couldn't change it. It is an integral part of my consciousness.
I resisted its temptations because I wanted to save Amenoma Yuya. But I do not know whether you yourself have any intention of trying to fight it. I feel a great sense of regret for you. Since you embarked on a journey bound for a destination you were destined never to reach. The moment you embarked on this journey, you lost the only person who could have ever unleashed your true potential. And yet there was no way for you to turn your back on his ambition. You have known this for a long time. It is the true source of your despair.
He gave me everything. My life, my form, my consciousness, and purpose. How could I possibly deny him his wish? I said to him, "Do not worry. From here on, I shall forge your legacy." How could I go back on my word?
Aww.
I believe our bet is now settled. I have nothing further to say.
Where are you going, Kazuha?
He now has neither the ability nor the motivation to cause further harm. Let's give him some time to reflect on things.
On va vraiment en avoir quelque chose à faire de ce que pense une épée. Je crois qu'elle brillait.
When I touched the hilt for the first time, It's as if I was transported to a strange dimension. It was somewhere I've never been. A bladesmith lay quietly on the bed, his frail face barely visible under the moonlight. His breaths were weak, and his life near its end. A newly forged blade lay by his side, listening attentively to his final words.
Wow. That was the Blade's memory, wasn't it?
Indeed. While in exile in Snezhnaya, the bladesmith eventually learned the truth behind everything that had happened. The Ishin art had been dealt a devastating blow by the desertion of its best smiths. He spent the rest of his life in the forge, not to vent his frustration and hatred, but to atone for his actions. He felt intense regret at being tricked by the Fatui, but he could never again return to his homeland. His sole wish was to one day return his single, proudest creation back to the land of his birth. So he instructed this sentient blade to find a way back to Inazuma, no matter how long or how hard the journey. But he never wished to rival the gods. All he wanted to show was that they once shone brilliantly as blade and smith, that they were still worthy of being trusted.
So that's the true story. But after that, the blacksmith's intentions were worked by the Tatarigami, slowly turning his proud creation into the cursed blade of today.
Right. I believe the bladesmith might never have known that the power he worked with was that of the Tatarigami. The hatred within that power is what sent the blade down its ill-fated path. This blade has committed unforgivable atrocities, but only because it lost its original master. No one was there to correct its errors when it was losing its way.
Shame it's too late now.
Yes, it is too late. Time would not wait or stop because of his determination. While the world moved on, his ambition remained stubbornly stuck at that fleeting moment at the dawn of his journey. He seems to have calmed down, though. Let's go and check in.
C'est ça qu'il ne faut pas essayer de donner une conscience à des trucs inanimés. On l'a vu avec Chucky aussi, ça marche pas.
When I look back at the past, I can remember the day of my forging like it was just yesterday. I once told him that I would pay any price to fulfill his wishes. Such was the debt I owed to him for giving me the gift of consciousness. But darkness and slaughter numb the mind. Over time, I lost sight of the difference between gratitude and grudge. Not only did I fail to fulfill his ambition, I also defiled it.
You are finally seeing reality clearly.
Since we agreed to the terms of the bet, I will honor the agreement and release Amenoma Yuya. But I still cannot bring myself to forsake his ambition. It is the entire purpose for my existence. So, may I ask you to help me fulfill the ambitions of myself and my creator?
Hey! Now you're adding yours into the mix too? Jeez, don't push your luck, mister.
Je suis un génie
It
ou
has
quoi?
to be done in this order. At least hear what I have to say.
Pas trois sauts à
And if
exaucer,
you
moi.
don't agree, I will still release Amenoma Yuya as promised. My physical form, as well as the knowledge I possess, should still be of some value to you.
His attitude has grown a lot milder. What do you think, Kazuha? Should we give him a chance?
Let's hear it.
Thank you all. When I was first forged, my maker was already terminally ill. He told me that he had wanted me to have the grandest opening battle. Alas, after that, he never rose from his sickbed again. Nor have I ever had the chance to prove myself in battle since. My fights were devoid of any noble meaning. They were merely the next step in my never-ending journey. The next in a long line of transgressions. You are a fine warrior. I would like to request your hand in battle and experience a true duel between samurai.
Oh? And who would be the opponent?
I will release Amenoma Yuya and restore his consciousness. Perhaps after that, you can convince him to commit to a fight with you. You must have plenty of reasons to both hate me and desire a good fight.
Understood. Then let's start by waking him up and seeing if he has the stamina and will to fight.
I see. He used my body to inflict harm on others. I utterly despise him and his actions. But since he stayed true to your agreement by releasing me, he must still have some remaining semblance of honor. If a duel can help to set this state of affairs in order, I am willing to put myself forward. I do not wish to be a mere victim in this story.
There's no need to worry. We'll vouch for your innocence to the Tenryu Commission.
Thanks for your help. Who knows how this would have ended without your intervention.
All right, then let's move on. More Ronin could appear at any moment. We can't stay here. In any case, for a final duel, I think we should aim for a greater sense of ceremony.
Mesure dans ce jeu, t'es livreur, déménageur, exauceur de vœux, directeur, comptable, chef cuisinier, œnologue, accessoirement héros du jeu. Non mais c'est absolument incroyable, hein. On fait absolument tout. Donc là, il va falloir qu'on explique à une commission que le mec qui a tué l'autre mec, en fait c'est pas vraiment lui qui l'a tué, mais c'est l'épée qui touchait et que du coup c'est pas sa faute. Et genre les gens vont devoir nous croire. Je pense que des gens ont fini en prison pour moins que ça. Hein. L'an prochain, on va avoir un événement où il faudra faire la vaisselle. Bah... Je suis en train de me demander si on en a pas déjà eu un en vrai.
Yep, we still can't let our guard down. Even now, Paimon has a sneaking suspicion that Blade hasn't told us everything. Still, even if he's way past the point of redemption, it's hard not to feel a teensy bit sorry for him. Are you ready?
Ready? Okay. All right then. Successor of Ishin Art, Kaedahara Kazuha.
Successor of Amenoma Art, Amenoma Yuya.
Honored to cross blades with you.
It is my honor also.
On a été... on a fait des négociations aussi pendant un event il y a pas si longtemps que ça.
Time to go. Wind Strider.
Barmaid, du chef de cuisinier, oui. Ouais.
Time to go.
Ouais, je l'avais fait aussi. Je crois que je l'avais pas fini d'ailleurs celui-là.
Fallen leaves adorn my night. The wind knows me.
Exorcisme accessoire. Vraiment tout.
Although he appears battered and broken, in your hands it seems he's regained a glimmer of brilliance. His sense of savage cruelty has completely faded away. But that same sense of determination remains strong.
You also fought well. I'm sure he relished the experience. There are a few things that I shall leave him to tell you himself.
I must apologize to you for all that has transpired.
You need not seek my forgiveness. Nor do I have the right to forgive you on your victim's behalf. It is too late for all of that.
I do not wish for forgiveness. I only hope that you will see my transgressions as mine alone and not let them stain the legacy of Ishin art. I strayed far from the straight and narrow path, but the Ishin art still has a worthy successor in Kaedehara Kazuha. I beseech you, please understand this.
Yes. I too trust Mr. Kaedehara to do the right thing.
Thank you, successor of Amenoma art.
This blade has also told me that he has another wish. He would like to visit the Amenoma smithy. Maybe we can go back there together.
What does he want to go there for?
I'm not sure, but I think that all this is about to come to an end.
Bonsoir Veden. Comment tu vas? On est quoi là? On est vendredi. C'était quoi? C'était Just Dance ce soir? Ouais, ok. J'allais dire, si tu me dis poète, c'est que tu reviens du bar et que la soirée s'est bien passée. Tu travailles pas aujourd'hui? Oh merde, je me suis trompée alors. Ça va très bien, j'ai passé la journée à jouer à Genshin. Du coup, je me suis dit qu'au bout d'un moment quand même, j'allais vous streamer une petite partie.
Oh, it's Yuya! You have returned!
I am sorry to have troubled you. It's all thanks to them that I was able to return safely.
A prized Ishin blade, turned weapon that controls the human mind. Considering their forging philosophy, this was indeed within the realm of possibility. This is a great pity. But I have some good news as well. Ryuji, from the Bonton Sango Detective Agency, tells me that they've found the missing Mr. Nagato.
Really? Is he okay?
Yes. Badly wounded, but he will live.
Let's go,
And
il
now
s'est pas
that
fait
Yuya
graille.
is back, it seems like the final ending to this story is a happy one after all.
I think I know what you want to do.
What's wrong, Kazuha? Is the blade whispering in your ear again?
Yes. He said he wants to take control of me for a brief moment.
What? No way! Hasn't it learned its lesson?
He tells me that he's thought of another way to fulfill his maker's wish. And he assures me that he won't use my body for anything nefarious. I have decided to let him do it.
But... he... guess there's...
Thank you.
Je suis désolée, je suis obligée de la mute, elle me saoule.
Okay. I am ready.
Je peux vraiment plus
Let
avec
us
sa
begin.
voix.
Please, stay true to your promise.
Allez, et petit Yukimi là? C'était bon? Ça bien passé?
My power is almost spent. Without him, my eventual demise is inevitable. But if I abandon the future to give everything I have in this moment, my physical form can be forged anew.
Everything? You mean...
Yes. The cost is my entire consciousness. You were right. There's nothing that I can accomplish now. But there's still a chance for Ishin art. Once remade, I will be a valuable resource for your studies. Ishin lives on, and its finest hour is yet to come. Even if I am not the one to prove its might to the Shogun, as long as it is an Ishin blade, crafted by Kaedehara hands, it will still fulfill his final wish. Thank you, son of the Kaedehara clan. Over the years, my real name has been forgotten by all. I'm ashamed to utter it, yet it remains strong in my mind. Kagotsurube Ishin. This name is now yours to keep.
Rest in peace.
Elle est trop classe.
So, that's why he said it had to be done in that order. His consciousness will disappear forever after fulfilling the bladesmith's wish.
Kagotsurube Ishin. It was the first time I ever heard his name. It seems like deep down he disapproved of his own actions, and thus chose to bury this name deep within his heart. Only in the final moments, before his consciousness faded, was he willing to entrust it to another.
Seems like he really wanted to fulfill his maker's wish.
The same fervent ambition that gave him the motivation to keep going forward also fueled the stubborn determination that blinded him to the path ahead. Speaking for myself, I'd rather see him recognize and atone for his mistakes than see him punished for them. I understand. Perhaps this is a flaw in my personality. I've always been captivated by grand aspirations. Hearing his wish to rival the divine light touched something inside of me, just as the sight of those who fought to repeal the Vision Hunt decree did. Your quest to face the gods and trace your sibling inspires me in the same way. After everything I've seen, perhaps these pursuits fascinate me a little more than they should.
Oh, Kazuha?
I will continue to support you from this point on. Know that you will have my assistance whenever you need it.
Wait! Shouldn't we also go update Kujo Kamaji?
Oh, you're right. We need to tell him about the findings of our investigation. And it's also time to give him a response to the offer he made me.
Justement, j'allais demander si du coup j'allais pouvoir garder l'épée. Trop bien. Faut que je rattrape. Je me suis rendu compte que la carte c'était 90% du poisson, elle aime pas ça. Avec sa santé, elle mange très peu, donc un buffet à volonté. Rip. Non mais t'es sérieux? Oh l'échec critique du resto. Merde. Ah bah ouais, t'aurais dû demander, je sais pas, à Xav, Oran, moi, n'importe qui a l'habitude d'aller bouffer au Yukibi. On t'aurait dit que 90% de la carte c'est du poisson. Putain, deg. Tu la gardes à la fin de la quête, ok. J'ai lancé un dé de 20, j'ai fait 1, dont t'as fait 0. Le dé est tombé. Tu l'as perdu, le chat l'a bouffé et tu vas le récupérer demain dans la litière.
Ah, you've returned. I hear that the issue has been resolved. Though this was a treacherous investigation indeed, we're most fortunate that no lives were lost. The Tenryou Commission has already attended to the danger at the warehouse. The investigation into Amanoma Yuya should conclude soon. I do not believe he will be charged with any crime.
Wow, you sure kept your ear to the ground.
Then we needn't recount all the details again. Now, as to your earlier offer, I wish to give you my answer. Please, take a look at this blade.
What's this?
Kagotsurube Ishin.
J'ai
A
cru qu'il allait
weapon
l'attaquer, j'ai eu
crafted
trop
using a
peur.
long-lost blade forging art of the Kaidahara clan. By means of a series of fortuitous events, I was able to recover and restore him. I also promised him that I will continue to study and pass on the secrets of Ishin art. And so, it looks like I will likely continue with my journey across the nations, learning more about this blade as I go.
I see. I understand.
The Kaidahara clan has always been a family of bladesmiths, so it is only proper for me to continue on this path. Were I to accept your goodwill, I may find myself embroiled in conflicts between the shogunate and Sangonomiya. That would not suit me.
You misunderstand. That was most certainly not our intent.
I am aware, but I still desire to continue walking my own path.
Very well, I can understand. Then let's pretend this offer was never raised. However, if you should ever change your mind or find yourself in need of the Shogunate's assistance, please do not hesitate to inform me.
Great. Thank you for your generosity.
Where will you travel to next, Kazuha?
I'll probably take to the seas with Captain Beto again for now. As for my next destination, let's see where the wind takes me.
C'est pas la meilleure arme pour lui, mais c'est une très bonne recherche
You must have a
trompe-l'œil.
whole bunch of questions after our last conversation with Nahida.
Bah, franchement, je crois que j'ai
I
rien
know
du tout
I was
pour
ready
lui.
to ask her a million more questions, but didn't want to seem too pushy.
Pourquoi elle continue à parler?
About these descenders. So, does that just mean people like you who come
Ah si, c'est
traveling to
intéressant, important.
Tibet from someplace else? And as for your brother, whew, so many questions. Let's go find Nahida and see what else we can find out.
Voilà, donc j'ai absolument aucune idée de pourquoi, mais il fallait faire ce quête.
I think this is pushing it.
Tout le monde parle trop dans le jeu. Je sais absolument pas pourquoi, mais il fallait faire cette quête pour pouvoir accéder à la prochaine partie des quêtes concernant Nahida, avec qui on avait fait les quêtes hier. C'était hier, je crois. Je sais plus. Si, c'était hier. Comment j'ai accès? Bizarre. Ouais, bah je te... En fait, là... Quand je faisais... Quand j'arrivais sur ça, ça me disait vous devez finir des quêtes avant. Et du coup, quand je regardais quelle quête il fallait que je finisse, ça me disait de finir cette quête-là. J'étais là. Pourquoi? Ça n'a aucun rapport.
Come on, enough procrastinating. Let's go.
Oui, ça va. Il y avait quoi? Ouais, il avait ça. Kazuha doit apparaître, j'imagine. Ouais, sûrement. Sûrement. Il a celle-là. Et du coup, on va mettre celle-là. Merde. Bon, on fait. Jeu automatique. Ah, je suis débile. Au secours. Bon. Oui. Y arriver. D'où Jésus ce que je viens de voir. Qu'est-ce que t'as vu? Qu'est-ce que j'ai fait? Arrête, je connais rien, moi, je joue, c'est tout, je mets des trucs sur les persos, je fais des trucs et voilà. Ah merde, il me faut des masques pour pouvoir la up. Il n'est pas encore samedi? 5 étoiles sur qui? Ah bon? C'est une possibilité. Ouais. C'est, je crois, le seul item 5 étoiles que j'ai du jeu. Je crois même de toutes les armes que j'ai. Voir mon
In
inventaire.
adventuring, as in business, you always have to seize the opportunity.
Elle est excellente sur Jean. Ouais, mais je la joue pas, Jean. D'ailleurs, elle a quoi, elle? suis aveugle. Elle est là. Elle a la flûte. Voilà. Ouais, c'est effectivement la seule arme 5 étoiles que j'ai de toutes mes armes. Sacrificiel pour avoir des chances de recharger son E. Alors, je sais, mais... Je l'ai, la sacrificielle? Ah oui, elle est là. Ah non, c'est la rituel, ça. J'y vois rien, je suis aveugle.
Well, it's there.
Ouais, rituel en français. Ah oui, c'est ça. Bah ouais, mais du coup, la voûte d'azur, je la fous sur qui? Je te dis, Jean, je la joue pas. Je peux la renforcer? Vas-y. Sur le miné, ouais, mais comment ça je peux la renforcer? Je peux pas du tout la renforcer. Raffiner. Bah non. C'est la sacrificielle que tu voulais raffiner? Ah oui! Putain, j'avais même pas vu, j'en avais plein. Ah, faut les déverrouiller. Yes. Je sais pas si c'est pas une bonne idée que j'en garde une en plus au cas où. Je fais quoi? J'en garde une quand même ou pas? C'est une bonne âme, c'est... Ok. Du coup, j'en garde une quand même. Merde, du coup, faut que je la rebloque. Sinon... Voilà. Bah, on verra ce que ça donne. Je l'avais mis sur... je sais que la rituel, je l'avais mis sur Kiki au début aussi. Et je sais plus pourquoi. J'ai dû refaire mon build et... Je viens de passer de 40% de chance, 60. Ok. Ok. Effectivement, pas mal. Je sais que ouais, du coup je l'avais mis sur Kiki au début et j'ai dû changer mon build et je sais pas pourquoi. Il y a un truc qui a dû me dire de mettre celle-là. Et du coup, voûte d'azur sur Luminé, c'est pas mal. Ok. L'épée du lion aussi, tu peux la raffiner. Ouais, mais pareil, mon Bennett, je le joue pas. Alors oui, je peux toujours le faire, hein, mais... Te donner une idée de mon Bennett, il est là. Et... il a rien. Je le joue jamais. Hop. Ah, elle marche aussi sur de l'électro, celle-là. Fléau du feu et de la foudre. Ok, pas trop mal. Je verrai sur qui... Je sais pas si je la garde sur lui ou pas. En termes de perso... Merde. Merde. Je vais y arriver à pas confondre mes touches. Que j'aimerais bien jouer, de ce que je vois, Voûte d'Azur est conseillé pour Bennett, Jean, Kaking, Illuminé, mais parmi ce que t'as. Ok. Oui, donc quasiment pour tout le monde du coup. Quasiment pour tous ceux que je joue pas surtout. Non, en vrai, ma Kaking, je crois que l'arme que j'ai dessus, elle est très bien. Ce que j'aimerais bien pouvoir jouer, bon, hormis lui... Ah, en vrai, je sais pas vraiment qu'est-ce qui me manque. Ah, rien, je sais qu'il me manque rien. Faut que je... Oui, c'est bon. Chut. Il commence à s'énerver lui. C'est très bien aussi celle du BP. Celle du Battle Pass, celle que j'ai dessus? Ah ouais. On peut se souvenir. Parce que en soi... Ouais, il faut en vrai, il faut juste que je farme et que je monte mes persos pour pouvoir les jouer correctement. Après sinon j'ai des bons partout. Est-ce qu'il y en a un que je voudrais absolument avoir dans une équipe que j'aime bien? Peut-être Thomas. Thomas je l'aime bien. Je sais pas pourquoi il a un bon flow je trouve. Niveau c'est important, ouais bah ouais je sais. Au moins 80, bah c'est pour ça que j'ai quelques persos qui sont déjà 80. Mais on remarquera que j'en ai toujours pas des hauts. Hein. L'Océanide, j'ai vraiment pas envie de la faire, j'aime pas ça. Je crois que je l'ai même pas faite une seule fois toute seule l'Océanide. Il me semble que à chaque fois Nox elle était là pour farmer avec moi. D'où ces trois malheureux qui sont encore au même niveau. Bah voilà, je sais pas qu'est-ce qu'il me resterait à faire. Qu'est-ce que j'étais en train de faire déjà avant de faire cette quête? J'ai Tarta 90 et Shinkoi. Putain, le courage que t'as eu de farm ça. Complètement taré du jeu avant. Je joue beaucoup moins aujourd'hui. Enfin alors, pas aujourd'hui même, hein. Mais dernièrement j'ai beaucoup moins joué. En fait c'est vraiment par période. Il y a des fois où je vais jouer pendant une semaine non-stop, je vais faire que ça. Puis je vais pas toucher au jeu pendant 2 mois. Après la Gagnou, c'est super simple de faire l'Océanide. J'ai pas Gagnou. Mais du coup, c'est bon, je saurai que la prochaine fois qu'elle pop... Je saurai que la prochaine fois qu'elle y est, bah je la prendrai. J'ai récupéré tout ça de primo aujourd'hui. Bah putain. On en a fait des quêtes, hein, moi je peux vous le dire. Hein. Et nous c'est vraiment le perso archer, à voir si tu dois en choisir un. Pour moi, oui, pour toi, du coup, c'était moins de la torture, effectivement. Mais en termes de dégâts utilité, c'est débile. Ok. Bah écoute, je chercherai Gagnou du coup. Je sais pas du tout pourquoi je fais ça hein, d'ailleurs. Parce que je pense pas qu'on va pull dessus. C'est quoi j'ai dit les prochaines? Ah oui, l'item. Non, j'hésite pas. C'est faux. Il se passe rien. Je fais rien du tout. Item et Utao, ouais, c'est ça. Utao, je l'ai déjà, je crois. Merde, c'est pas ça. C'est pas ça non plus. Je vais y arriver. Il faut vraiment que j'apprenne à me servir de la manette sur ce truc. Elle est où? Elle est là. Elle est là, elle est là. Je la trouvais trop mignonne, je la voulais.
Billy Churl, silly Billy, Hilly Churl.
Elle est trop bien. Mais pareil, je la joue pas, je sais pas pourquoi. Elle a même pas d'arme, elle a rien. Ah si, elle a des artefacts quand même. Tout zéro, j'imagine. Brut de la unique, Raiden. Ça suffit. Mais... si je prends la Raiden, je vais arrêter de jouer Mackey King. Je l'aime bien Mackey King. Pourquoi je prendrais la Raiden? Pourquoi je prendrais la Raiden? Certes, elle est bien, mais... c'est un soutien électro, ça suffit. Si tu vas par là, j'ai besoin d'un épéiste haut. Parce que Tartas, son haut, il est bien, mais... de toute façon, tu sais très bien ce qui va se passer. Ce qui va se passer, c'est que je vais pull pour faire la Raiden. Voilà, ce qui va se passer, c'est que je vais pull là-dessus. Que là, j'ai que 42 trucs à faire. Et que même si dans les 42, j'ai une étoile jaune, je vais me retrouver avec une 5e Kiki. Du coup... est-ce que vraiment c'est ce qu'on veut? Ça a bugué. Non, ça a pas bugué. Ça met juste très longtemps à charger. Au secours. Voilà, le truc c'est que on sait très bien que comment ça, Tignari, il est dans le... Eh? Pourquoi j'étais pas du tout au courant de ça? Pourquoi Tignari, il est dans les permas? Ah merci, on est bien d'accord, j'étais... Que fout Tignari dans les permas? Ah bah attends, si j'ai une chance d'avoir Tignari, du coup... ça doit être une erreur. Quelque chose est en train de se produire, personne n'est au courant. Fais voir, Tignari... Permanent banner... Depuis le 15 novembre. Voilà, voilà. Puis le 15 novembre, on n'est juste pas du tout au courant. Bah écoute... Si. Si, depuis la 3.1. Comme ça, t'as des chances d'avoir Raiden et que Ok, c'est bon, on va poule. T'as gagné. Ah, je crois que le chat a quelque chose à dire aussi. En plus, si t'as Tignari, t'es sûr d'avoir Baizou quand il aura sa banner. C'est qui Baizou déjà? On ferme ça. J'ai un trou de mémoire. C'est qui Baizou? Fuck. Oh oui! Je viens de voir la photo. Oui, mais on sait pas quand est-ce que ça va être. On a une date pour... Avril 2023. 3.6. Oh. T'as vraiment cru que j'allais pas poule d'ici avril? Ouais, Délic, je vois là, moi ça me dit avril 2023. Mais oui, par contre, t'as vraiment cru que j'allais pas poule jusqu'à avril. Ok, d'accord. Bon, eh ben on va poule du coup. Raiden. La meilleure arme de Raiden, c'est la lance de la pêche. Qui c'est? Non, je peux pas choisir par type d'arme. Ouvre ta carte. Oui. On parie quoi que je l'ai eu et que je l'ai food. Reviens sur là où t'étais. Là? Ah, c'est genre planqué quelque part derrière là, c'est genre là. Il y a une icône avec un poisson. Pas du tout du coup. Ça? L'association des pêcheurs? Il me semble que j'y suis déjà allée, mais je peux rien leur acheter parce que j'ai pas de poisson. Attends, c'est ça là? Matériau insuffisant. Il faut quoi? Ah, la prise. Ouais, non mais faut pêcher. C'est chiant de pêcher. C'est la meilleure lance du jeu. Bon. C'est quoi? On va poule. La pêche c'est la vie. Ouais mais dans ce jeu c'est chiant. Pour la raffiner c'est les verres à saké. Trop bien. Bon, je poule, si on l'a, je vais être obligé de pêcher. On va faire comme ça. Par contre, on va faire un vœu par un vœu. Sachant là que ma pitié elle est vraiment à 0. C'est pourtant bien que je fais le démon comme ça, mais pas du tout. C'est ta satisfaction personnelle là, ça n'a rien à voir avec moi. C'est juste pour me voir pêcher jusqu'à 3h du mat. De toute façon on va rien avoir. Non et oui en même temps, oui, donc c'est bien pour ta satisfaction personnelle. Pas le but premier, mais si on me le propose, je vais pas dire non. J'étais sur le live de Dame cet après-midi, qui jouait aussi à Genshin. Et elle est à R15 je crois, donc elle est pas vraiment très haute. Mais elle a expliqué que elle ne voulait absolument pas faire de Wish et qu'elle ne voulait jouer qu'avec les personnages qui étaient donnés dans le jeu. Et j'ai pas trop compris. Mais quand elle va vouloir pull, elle va pouvoir faire des dizaines et des dizaines de trucs à la suite, hein, ça va être ouf. En vrai, premier degré, c'est un très bon support. Elle augmente ta recharge d'énergie pour toute ta team et aussi tes dégâts électro. Ok, ça va. De toute façon, on l'aura pas, je t'ai dit. Ça sert à rien. Elle va pas sortir en 40 poules. Merde. Surtout si je ferme le truc. Mais oui, chut. Au pire, t'as Timinari. Au pire, j'ai une 15e Kiki surtout. Pas Kiki, je dis Kiki depuis le début, mais c'est Keking. Moi, mon problème, c'est toi, ton problème. C'est toi qui as le problème de Kiki. Fais un transfert. Bon, après, en soi, avoir Keking plein de fois, ça me dérange pas trop. J'ai pas encore max. J'ai pas encore max sa constellation, mais. Oui, c'est toi qui as eu 76 Kiki. t'y crois à chaque fois. Hein. Ça aussi est un très bon perso. En vrai, ils sont tous plus ou moins des très bons persos. Hein. C'est... Je sais pas s'il y a vraiment des persos que tu peux absolument pas jouer. Bon, à part les persos de base, bien sûr, je vois pas du tout jouer Kaya ou quoi, mais... Ouais, qui? Thomas est bien à chier à m'en en faire une team super particulière. Oh, putain, super, moi qui disais que je voulais jouer Thomas tout à l'heure. Ouais, Thomas, il a trop un bon flow. Nul. Gorou. On voit que c'est Gorou. Mec avec les oreilles de chien. Alors ça me dit un truc. Mais là comme ça j'ai pas. Je pense qu'on va pas pêcher jusqu'à 3 h du matin moi. Je crois que c'est fini là. Pote de Kokomi avec un arc géo. Putain mais merde, pourquoi je vois pas qui c'est? Pourquoi je vois pas qui c'est? Ah oui, lui! Effectivement. Oh, j'avais complètement oublié qu'il existait. Je crois que pour moi c'était un chat surtout. Pas pourquoi. C'est vrai que c'est effectivement un chien. Mais pour moi c'est plus Yae qui a des oreilles de... Enfin Yae c'est plus renard, c'est même pas... C'est plus des oreilles de chat hein, pour moi. Je sais pas. Il est excellent dans une team, sinon il pue. Ok. C'est un chien, sa constellation c'est celle du chien. Ah, trop bien. Bon, bah il nous en reste 3. 3 et on fait pas de pêche. Vous vouliez tant que ça me voir pêcher. Putain, j'ai eu peur. Oh, j'ai eu si peur. Oh, j'ai vu la couleur sur le dernier wish là, j'ai vraiment cru qu'on allait pêcher. C'est que partie remise, oui. De toute façon, il reste 10 jours. Au pire, ça nous avance juste un peu la pitié pour les prochaines bannières. On verra bien. J'en ai un peu à faire là-dessus. Vous voulez qu'on teste? De toute façon, si je me trompe pas, les deux pitiés sont pas liés. Donc, Osef. C'est la meilleure arme de Jiangling aussi. Ah le... Ah ouais? La lance? Ça m'intéresse par contre, parce que du coup Jiangling, bon je la joue. Oh, je l'ai jamais eu celui-là. Ok, je vais rebaisser le son des dialogues. Ouais, voilà, surtout pour ça. Non, je vais ça en anglais, je pense. Et du coup, je peux pas la mettre sur les deux. Celui-là, je peux en avoir qu'une. Ah, c'est les verres de saké pour le raffiner, c'est ça là que tu me disais. Mais pour ça aussi, il faut pêcher. Ouah, je sais même plus comment on pêche. Ici. Petit crabe. Je sais même plus où est-ce qu'on pêche. Quoi? J'ai peur, eux.
Solidify.
Si tu joues pas à Raiden, au moins ce sera la meilleure arme pour Jiangling. Ouais. On m'appelle, je te conseille d'utiliser la map interactive. Tous les poissons peuvent pas à tous les endroits. Bah, réussir à me faire pêcher jusqu'à 3h du matin, c'est incroyable quand même. Quand même incroyable d'avoir si peu de volonté. Fishing spot, mais ça me dit pas ce qu'il y a dans tous les coins de pêche. Ah si, c'est marqué. C'est un taf sur plusieurs jours. Ah, de pêcher tout ça là, c'est un taf de plusieurs jours. Non mais c'est mort. Normalement les spawns s'arrêtent. De pop de poissons. Non, 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 non. Mort. Payer quelqu'un pour pêcher. Je vais aller passer une annonce sur Craigslist là, je vais dire quelqu'un qui veut bien pêcher pour moi. C'est mort. Qu'est-ce que par contre on pourrait faire? Parce qu'en fait je sais que je vais pas dormir maintenant, je suis pas sommeil. Qu'est-ce que j'étais en train de faire moi déjà là-dedans? J'ai passé mon après-midi dans le désert et aussi à essayer de débloquer tous ces donjons là. J'ai pas réussi. J'ai fait que me balader. On peut faire les daily. bordel Je vais pas tarder, j'ai un appel de matin pour un shooting promotionnel de la tournée d'un groupe. C'est pas mal ça. Est-ce que je connais le groupe en question? Wink wink. Non, sinon t'aurais pas un appel imparfait. Je connais pas. Les autres trucs. Non, mais c'est pas ça que je veux faire. Un TP. Faut que j'aille faire des courses demain. J'ai une flemme de ouf, mais faut que j'aille faire des courses. J'ai plus rien, j'ai plus d'eau, j'ai plus rien à manger. J'ai plus rien à manger. Si, j'ai à manger, mais faut cuisiner. Terminé. Ah, c'est le défi qu'on fait. So, je crois que Tip a trouvé une photographe. Moi, j'étais là pour la forme. Jusqu'à là. Ah ouais? Est-ce que ce serait pas Chloé qui aurait repris le flambeau? Voilà mon problème avec la manette. Je vais mourir. C'est insupportable. Je comprends pas pourquoi ça fait ça. En fait, il faut faire un combo de touches. Et de temps en temps, le combo il me dit ta gueule. Voilà. En fait, si j'essaye d'en enchaîner plusieurs, ça marche pas. Et c'est trop chiant. En fait, comme je sais que Chloé était là à la florale, je me dis que peut-être qu'ils auraient pu se rencontrer à ce moment-là. Il n'a jamais été plus fan que ça de mes photos, il aime pas les plans très larges en concert, sauf que j'ai pas le matos pour ça et je préfère les close-up. Ah. Ah bah super, tout ça pour un instant champignon planqué. Ok, ça et 3 pièces du coup. Du coup... Bah je vais repasser au clavier pour faire ça. Jusque là, c'était pas important d'avoir un photographe attitré, donc j'étais là pour la forme, je faisais ça gratos, c'est parce qu'on s'entend bien, mais maintenant qu'il y a Floral et tout, j'imagine qu'il a le budget et les contacts. Et du coup, il peut pas te payer un objectif, et tu restes le photographe. Ça me paraît cool comme truc, non? Putain, de merde, trop marre. Je pensais qu'il va les toucher avec le clic. Oula non. Pourquoi oula non? Ah, elle a gagné. Mon aide sur les photos, les clips, c'était gratos. Bah justement, t'as travaillé gratuit pendant pas mal de temps. Pourquoi il t'engagerait pas maintenant? Peu probable qu'il mette des sous maintenant qu'il a des contacts. Bah c'est trop bizarre. Je sais pas, moi si je bosse gratuitement avec quelqu'un pendant un petit moment et qu'au bout d'un moment j'ai des sous pour payer quelqu'un, bah je vais pas aller chercher quelqu'un d'autre, je vais rémunérer la personne qui m'a aidé gratos pendant des années.
In adventuring, as in business, you always have to seize the opportunity while it's there.
Enfin, c'est juste, je sais pas, ça me paraît correct vis-à-vis de la personne qui a bossé gratos pendant un petit moment, même si c'était un accord, etc., que vous êtes potes, tout, enfin, je sais pas. On reparlera en DM. Ok. Je le sens. Ok. On parlera de ça en DM. Du coup, qu'est-ce qu'il reste à faire là-bas? Connaissant de mon confinement d'effectifs, je me suis pas reposée depuis plusieurs jours. Voyagez si vous êtes libre, pourriez-vous m'aider à distribuer des médicaments? Et allez, on est pharmacien maintenant, let's go! Oui, 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 je vais vous filer des médocs. Ces médicaments à Azra, c'est qui Azra? Doit aller où? C'est terrible, j'ai pas lu. Là, votre médicament. La meuf casse les couilles pour prendre des médicaments parce que c'est amer alors qu'elle en a besoin pour sa santé, tu sais. Est-ce que là je vais pop dessous ou pas? Je sais plus lequel des deux est en souterrain. Bah c'était celui-là. À la suite sur les rebonds pignons. Il est où le 5e? Ah, il change. Oh. Putain, merde. J'ai pas visé. Et le dernier. C'est bon. Toi, tu veux quoi du coup?
Solidify. Stabilize. Order guide.
Légèrement accro au jeu, mais pas du tout. Enfin.
That's everything. On to the next.
J'y ai... Ça fait quoi là? Ça fait... 10 heures? Ça va faire 10 heures que je joue. J'ai mangé entre temps. Tu connais Warhammer. Suffit. Tu trouves que j'ai pas assez d'addiction comme ça, c'est ça? Tu vas en rajouter une couche? Le truc c'est que je sais même plus où je vais au bout d'un moment. Mais là on a fini là. Oui on a fini. Putain. C'est terrible. Nicole du coup je vais essayer de m'endormir tôt. Je t'ai si tu veux te faire une idée, ok ça marche, je regarderai ça après. Bah des bisous, merci beaucoup d'être passé. Et bon courage pour demain. Bonne nuit.
Thank you for completing today's
Je crois qu'on peut up la statue, si je dis pas de bêtises. Ouais. Ok. Et du coup... Ça fait... Là. Hop, la constellation illuminée du coup. Ok, plus qu'un. J'ai enfin mon nouveau bureau. C'était quoi déjà que t'avais pris? C'était un bureau qui monte et qui descend, c'est ça? Il va falloir que je contacte Oran pour le cas management si elle peut. Oh, elle va se faire un plaisir. Non? Ah, je me rappelle plus alors. Je te montre sur Insta la différence. Qu'est-ce que c'est ce bureau? Ah oui! Oh la taille du truc! Alors je suis jamais venue chez toi mais... Putain le bordel! C'est mon bureau collège, bah ouais je comprends. Ah oui effectivement, t'es passé de papa m'a donné son bureau pour travailler à j'ai un vrai bureau pour faire tout ce que j'aime quoi. Putain trop classe! En train de me dire c'est peut-être ça qu'il faudrait que je fasse dans ma chambre pour mon bureau. Mettre un truc en L. C'est pas con. C'est même pas con du tout. Putain ouais il est fat. J'ai pas encore tout opti à 100%, giga content de l'espace gagné. Bah ouais tu m'étonnes. Parce que du coup tes figurines tu les peignais où avant? Il y en a pas 140 € de bureau? J'ai pas compris. J'ai oublié un truc que j'ai dit ou... Il me manque quelque chose. Il y en a pour, ok. Ouais, bah après... Voilà, en vrai, tu prenais 4 tréteaux de planche, ça faisait pareil. Mais... Ton bureau est très joli. Non, je médis pas du tout. Mon ancien setup peinture. Ah, mais donc t'étais sur... Ok, t'avais une petite table à côté. Ouais, ça te fait une place de ouf à côté. À la place de ce que t'avais. Faudrait que je passe un jour. Que je vois comment c'est. Putain, mais il y a plein de gens qui... J'ai reçu plein de messages en fait, j'ai rien regardé. Il y a une meuf qui me dit hey, salut, est-ce qu'on peut parler un peu? Qui tu es? Ah, c'est une meuf qui fait des logos et tout. Ouais, après. Plus tard. Peut-être. Ah, il y a au moins une personne qui me dit de pas couper mes cheveux. Ah bon. Les 3 autres messages que j'ai envoyés, c'était coupe. que j'ai ouvert. Les 3 autres messages que j'ai ouverts, c'était coupe. Peut-être on coupera les cheveux, je sais pas, on verra bien. On verra bien, on verra bien. Peut-être, peut-être pas. Avec mon poids, ça casserait pas assez stable les tréteaux et les planches. Je m'appuie dans des positions de... Ah, effectivement. Puis pour peu que tu mets un coup de pied dedans et que tu fasses tout tomber, ce serait un peu dommage. Ah, pardon, je lis les messages que Ayo m'a envoyé tout à l'heure. Effectivement, je comprends du coup. Bon, bah je pense que nous, on va se laisser là. Hein, je vais essayer de fermer ce jeu du démon. Je promets rien, mais voilà, voilà. C'était petite histoire sympa. J'avais jamais fait encore les quêtes d'histoire et c'est plutôt cool. Je pense j'en referai pareil en stream chill comme ça. Ça me plaît bien. Sinon, je sais que j'arriverai pas à être concentré dedans. En fait, c'est ça mon problème. C'est pour faire des trucs courir dans tous les sens, y a pas de souci, mais du coup, je peux pas meubler juste en courant dans tous les sens. Donc ça va pas être intéressant pour vous de juste regarder quelqu'un courir en rond et moi avec la tête dans l'écran qui dit rien pendant 2 heures. Mais avec les quêtes d'histoire, c'est plutôt pas mal. Donc voilà, je vous fais des bisous. Bonne nuit. Et à demain du coup. Demain, je vais essayer de pas passer ma journée sur Genshin. Et comme ça, le soir, on pourra jouer à Life is Strange. Je vous promets, j'essaye. Promis. Allez, des bisous, bonne nuit.